A large percentage of runners plateau when they ignore pacing strategy. I know because I used to be one of them. The moment I stopped trying to outrun my limits and started learning how to control my pace was when things truly changed. I used targeted interval workouts to find and lock in my ideal pace. And that single shift transformed my running, taking me from an ever-present fatigue to feeling real progress. I'm ryyoung, ultra runner, model, and men's lifestyle creator. With numerous marathons, 50-mile, 100-mile, and some multi-day stage runs complete. I started running 15 years ago on a treadmill and haven't looked back. After practicing the tips and suggestions in this video, you'll finish runs feeling more energized and faster than ever. Before we get into that transformation, let me tell you, I know exactly how it feels to struggle. The early days of my running career, they felt like a constant uphill battle. I'd head out with hope, convinced that this time, maybe things would click. But almost every run ended the same way. I'd start out too fast, feeling strong and confident, only to have my energy drained away before I was even halfway done. My legs would turn heavy, my breathing get inconsistent, and each step felt harder than the last. I couldn't understand why it always seemed so difficult to make progress from one run to the next. On some days, I'd try to pace myself and hold back, thinking a slower start would help. But even then, fatigue would quickly catch up with me, and I'd hit that familiar wall. It was frustrating to see so little improvement no matter how much I pushed. The inconsistency wore me down. Some days, I could cover a decent distance, but more often I'd find myself struggling just to keep myself moving forward. I watched other runners glide by, making it look effortless, while I felt like I was fighting for every mile. Like many runners, I believe the only way to get better was to try harder. So I pushed myself, convinced that more effort would eventually pay off. But the harder I tried, the more I seemed to stall. My legs felt battered after every run, and I'd come home exhausted, barely able to recover before the next session. Instead of building confidence, each difficult run chipped away at it, making me question whether I was really cut out for this. Eventually, I started to notice a pattern. My toughest runs always began the same way. I'd launch out at a pace that felt exciting, only to break down later. There's one run that stands out in my memory. I set off determined to beat my previous time, letting adrenaline carry me through my first mile. By the second mile, my stride became sloppy, and my heart rate shot up. My breathing was shallow, and my form fell apart. By the third mile, I was barely moving, reduced to a slow shuffle as I tried to will myself moving forward. The physical exhaustion was real, but the sense of defeat lingered even longer. I wasn't just tired, I was discouraged. It took a while to realize more effort alone wasn't the problem. The real issue was how I was running. I picked up some bad habits, like overstriding, where my foot landed too far in front of my body, forcing a heavy heel strike. This not only slowed me down, but put extra strain on my shin and my knees. If you'd like to hear more about overstriding and ways to correct it, along with various tips on proper technique and running form, check out this video right here. I'll put it up in a card. At the time, my runs weren't just inefficient. They were setting me up for injury and making every workout feel harder than it needed to be. The cycle became familiar. I'd push hard, crash harder, and then see little to no improvement. It reached a point when it was clear something had to change if I wanted to move forward. That's when I started to question the belief that running progress is all about effort. I realized most runners, myself included, fall into the trap of thinking that working harder is the answer, when in reality, improper pacing is what's holding us back. Logging more miles at the wrong intensity just lead to what experts call junk miles, runs that don't build real endurance or speed and only zap your energy and motivation. The turning point came when I shifted my focus from running harder to running smarter. I began to pay attention to how I paced myself, how my stride felt, and how my body responded to different efforts. It wasn't about pushing myself to the limit every time. It was about finding a rhythm that allowed me to run strong, stay consistent, and actually enjoy the process. It seems simple, right? But this truly was the insight that changed everything. It's where my real breakthrough began, when I stopped fighting against my body and started working with it. There's a simple but powerful secret behind every strong run, and it all comes down to understanding your pace. Looking back, my breakthrough came when I stopped thinking of running as a test of my willpower and started thinking of it as another skill that I could develop. The focus shifted from simply logging miles to actually paying attention to how my body responded to different efforts. I began to explore with interval training, a method that would change the way I approached every run. Interval training? It's pretty straightforward. You alternate between short, high-intensity bursts and periods of easy recovery. Research shows that these short, intense intervals can help your body clear lactate faster, which means you can run at a higher speed for longer before fatigue sets in. Instead of pushing at a steady, uncomfortable pace and hoping for the best, I learned to use these intervals to teach my body how to handle effort and recover more efficiently. Many runners do interval training outside or on a track in order to calculate intervals by meters. I choose, and I love, to do them on a treadmill. Never one to truly follow the recommended rules, I do my intervals in miles. My first sessions were eye-opening, with results that quickly showed. I'd warm up for 10 minutes. Then I'd run a mile at about 85% my maximum effort, aiming for a rate of perceived exertion, or RPE, around 7 or 8 out of 10. After each mile, I'd do a brisk walk until my breathing and heart rate came down, about an RPE of 3 or 4, before beginning a new mile and slightly increasing the pace and my RPE, and then another brisk walk. Many days I'd repeat this cycle until I'd run 8 to 10 miles with the walks in between. Long days, I know, but I'm a distance runner and I truly can't help it. Trust me when I say it's tempting to go all out every mile, every sprint, but when I first started this exercise, I quickly realized that pacing myself with each interval was critical. If I started too fast, I'd burn out before the workout ended. The real lesson was learning how to modulate my effort so I could finish strong, not just start strong. These workouts forced me to pay attention to how my body felt during different intensities. During intervals, I'd check if I could still get out a simple phrase, whatever it might be. If not, I knew I was going too hard for that segment. The recovery periods weren't just about catching my breath, but about noticing how quickly I could return to a comfortable state. The run wasn't controlling me. I now controlled how I moved through it. As I continued with interval training, the benefits became clear. My legs didn't feel trashed after every run. I could hold faster paces for longer stretches, and my breathing felt more controlled, even at higher speeds. The science backs this up. Interval training improves your body efficiency in using oxygen, and it helps you handle lactate acid buildup much better. That means less burning in your muscles and more energy for the final stretch of your run. One of the best aspects of interval training is how adaptable it is. Beginners can start with shorter sprints and longer recovery periods, while more experienced runners can increase the distance and shorten the rest. No matter the variation, every session can give us more insight into our pacing and how to adjust it in moving forward. I also started incorporating tempo runs, sustained efforts just below my maximum, where talking was limited to short phrases. These runs helped me practice holding a challenging pace without tipping into exhaustion. By combining interval and tempo runs, I gradually built a toolbox of workouts that targeted both speed and endurance, all while sharpening my sense of the right pace for any distance. To make the most of these sessions, I relied on simple cues. During intervals or tempo runs, I'd check my breathing and whether I could say a word or two. I paid attention to my stride. Was it smooth? Was I losing my form? If my heart rate felt out of control or my form broke down, that was a sign to ease off. These feedback loops replaced guesswork with real, actionable data about how I was progressing. What stood out most was the shift in confidence. Instead of dreading tough runs, I started to look forward to them. Each workout had a clear purpose and a way to measure improvement. My progress wasn't just about faster runs, but about how much better I felt during and after each run. The frustration and fatigue I used to experience gave way to a sense of control and consistency. Building these habits didn't happen overnight, but the changes were noticeable. My runs became smoother. My recovery improved, and I found myself reaching for new distances and speed without the old sense of struggle. With each session, I got better at reading my body and adjusting my pace. That steady progress made running feel less like a battle and more like a series of small, achievable steps. This shift in approach set the stage for a bigger transformation, one where running stopped feeling like a constant fight and started to feel almost effortless. For me, the real change began when I started to notice how different runs felt after a few weeks of consistent interval training and smarter pacing. I remember one morning running down a quiet trail as the sun was coming up. My breathing settled into a steady rhythm, and each stride felt smooth. Not forced or rushed, just controlled and powerful. For the first time, I realized I wasn't fighting fatigue at every step. Instead, my legs felt strong. I could actually enjoy the run as it unfolded. That same shift showed up in my race results and everyday training. The sense of control was new. I could push when I wanted, but I didn't feel like I was burning out. This wasn't just about feeling better. It was about seeing real progress. Studies show that with regular interval training, runners can see efficiency and fatigue resistance improve within a month. I saw my average pace slowly begin to drop, which meant covering more ground in less time and feeling fresher at the end of each run. These changes weren't dramatic overnight leaps, but steady, noticeable steps that kept me motivated. What surprised me was how quickly these benefits added up. After feeling stuck, it only took a few weeks of forced pacing work to start seeing results. The momentum built on itself. Each run felt a little easier, and I found myself looking forward to workouts instead of dreading them. Instead of ending every session exhausted, I finished feeling accomplished and ready for the next challenge. This transformation isn't reserved for experienced runners or people with perfect form. The beauty of pacing is that it's all personal. What works for one runner might not fit for another. So that's why experimenting is so important. The key is to pay attention to how your body responds, using cues like breathing, heart rate, or perceived effort to guide your training. The impact goes well beyond the numbers. As my pacing improved, my mindset changed too. I stopped obsessing over finishing as fast as possible and started focusing on how each run felt. I became more present, noticing details I used to miss. The sound of my feet on gravel, the shift in light as the sun rose, the pattern of my breath. Running became less about survival and more about appreciation. Those moments of smooth rhythm and quiet focus make each mile feel worthwhile. There's also a shift in confidence that comes with this change. Knowing I could adjust my pace and still reach my goals took away a lot of the anxiety I used to feel before a run. Even on tough days, I knew I had the tools to manage my effort and finish strong. That sense of control carried over into other parts of my life. If you're the type of runner who likes to see progress in hard numbers, you'll notice the difference too. With smart pacing and regular interval training, your pace can improve by about 1 to 2% after just a few weeks. It's a small number, I know, but it makes a big impact over longer distances. And more importantly, if you give yourself the time to work on pace, soon you won't leave each run feeling depleted. Instead, each run can build you up, giving you more confidence and energy for the next one. The most meaningful part of this transformation, though, is how it changes your relationship with running. Once you find your rhythm and learn how to train at the right intensity, running stops becoming a chore. It becomes something you'll want to do, something that helps you reconnect with why you started in the first place. Do you remember why you started running? It's an important anchor that can guide us through even the biggest of challenges. For inspiration in discovering, finding your why, check out this video right here. I'll add it in a card. The process of experimenting, adjusting, and improving makes every run an opportunity, not just another task to check off. If you're wondering if this kind of change is possible for you, let me tell you, it is. No matter where you're starting, the path to better running begins with a single step towards smarter training. Trying one interval workout or simply paying closer attention to your effort can set the whole process in motion. The payoff isn't just faster times. It's a deeper sense of enjoyment and a greater confidence in your ability to run well. That's the real reward of mastering your pace. You gain control over your running, and with that control, everything else just starts to fall into place. When you focus on pacing, running becomes less about struggle and more about steady progress. To put this into action, try this. Warm up for 10 minutes, then do 6 sets of 200 meters at a hard effort. Aim for an RPE of 8 out of 10, with 2 minutes of easy jogging between each set. Pay attention to how each interval feels, not just your watch. Notice your breathing, your form, and how quickly you recover. Track your effort by how you feel, and jot down any changes you notice over the next few weeks. Remember, even with all this knowledge to put into practice, it's important we breathe, relax, and let go. If you found this helpful and want more guidance on health and wellness and, of course, running, on travel and adventure, and even some men's style, I invite you to join the Luxury of Adventure Premium Club on runwithryan.org. All my videos, tips, suggestions, they get posted there first. Joining would be an incredible way to show your support. Thank you, and thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, please subscribe so you don't miss the next. Tap that like button and share your first interval experience in the comments down below. I'd love to see what is, or maybe what isn't working for you. We're on this running journey together, aiming to feel awesome while reaching towards our greatest potentials. Speaking of feeling awesome, you're probably familiar with the often dubbed runner's high, or flow state. It's one of the keys that keep us coming back for more. Maybe you drop in from time to time, or maybe it's something that's always eluded you. To explore techniques that make dropping into flow quicker, a little bit more easier, and more efficiently, check out the video right here. Your next breakthrough could start with the simple changes we laid out here today. Now, let's get out there and put these words into practice. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you here on the next one.